Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dynamite channel. I'm Chipper.
I'm Romina.
Today, we'll be breaking down episode 1127 of One Piece.
Luffy versus Kizaru. A fierce kaleidoscopic battle.
It's kaleidoscopic, and I'm not cutting it this time. Kaleidoscopic battle.
Kaleidoscopic battle.
Good. Good. Yeah, okay, let's
I'm
just
struggling
let's
with the name.
Yeah.
So, all right, Gear 5th Luffy is back. Finally, we've been waiting for this. He came out at the end of the last episode, and he is here in all his glory. How do you feel?
Good. It's always good to see. Like, they were building it up with the drums of liberation.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
like, let's finally see what these new abilities, how they're going to stack up against Kizaru's light attacks.
And Kizaru's sweating.
Oh,
You
yeah.
see him sweating.
Yeah.
Luffy's holding him. He's sweating. He's like, what's going on?
Well, this was funny at the beginning of the episode because, like, Luffy's literally just holding on to him. And he's like, whoa, what are you? Yeah. Just like threw him out in the.
I would appreciate if you let me do my work.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't know. I just really enjoy the, like, style that Kizaru has, even like under such adversity, or like he's legitimately
He's got
worried.
some swag.
Yeah, because even when he's legitimately worried, which you can tell, like he's concerned, like he's still playing it cool. Like, yeah.
And again, I brought this up last time, but I'm so used to really hating the person Luffy's fighting, and I just can't.
Hard to hate. It's hard to hate him.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't it just be Akainu every time? Like,
Yeah,
so
he's easy.
Easy to hate.
He is easy. I mean, there have been other easier people to hate, but yeah.
But Kizaru especially,
And you like him a lot.
yeah.
He's like one of your favorite characters,
Aokiji
right?
too. I like him and Aokiji and the blind guy, also. Like all three of those Marines, like I have a special
They're pretty
place
badass
for.
in
Yeah,
their
all
own
three of
ways.
them. Yep.
So he's kind of freaking out. Well, no, he's not freaking out. He's like, whoa, what's going on? Like assessing the situation. And he said, I'd appreciate if you let me do my job. Please go easy on me. And then he says that, and I don't really believe him. I feel like he's just trying to like be nice. So I'm like getting ready for his attack.
Yeah.
Um,
All of the Looney Tunes sounds and animations are back. We saw the eyes popping out of the head. We heard some of the sounds in the background, like to animate some of his movements.
And I feel like we really don't know or understand like Luffy's Gear 5th movements or attacks or really understand how they happen or how they work. So, I'm interested to see like more details on that as they start fighting. But before we go into the fight, it kind of takes us back to the lab, and we have the Straw Hats there talking about, all right, they're fighting. Kizaru's preoccupied. Like, let's get out. And if you remember in the last episode, Stussy was hurt pretty badly. I thought she died, but
Looked like it,
apparently
yeah.
not.
Yep.
So we have Stussy and Robin that really are more handicapped. They have to be carried out on stretchers. And then it kind of takes us to Bonnie that is on the ground. And Frankie, I think Dr. Vegapunk gets mad at Frankie. He's like, oh, you let her like get kicked out? Like, no, I'll go and save her.
Yeah,
right? And then Frankie starts kind of like feeling bad about himself and like, the mistakes or whatever.
And he's also like, no, don't. All of this is happening because they're trying to kill you.
True.
Like, don't do this.
Meanwhile, you hear Sanji in the background like, what? She got kicked?
Yeah.
That is unforgivable.
Yeah.
I'll go and rescue her. So Dr. Vegapunk goes with Atlas, and to try to rescue her. Meanwhile, you see Bonnie on the ground, hiding from the Marines, coming out, like switching between her child and adult form, and just starts attacking them, turning them into little kids and older men.
One of my favorite attacks, like in the show, by the way.
It's very goofy for sure.
It's goofy, but it's effective.
And she's really serious too.
No.
Like she's not goofy.
No, and the movements are like you can
She's
tell
strong.
she's training, but like it's an effective attack. Like you turn all the Marines into babies and old people, like they're not gonna be able to blow the island up.
Do you remember how long that attack lasts?
No, that's a good
I
question.
need to look in. I should have looked into that.
Yeah.
But okay, so she then hears the Marines talking about Sentomaru,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're like, "Oh, there he is, burned to a crisp."
Oh yeah, I did
And
see
then
that,
she remembers when she flew in after getting kicked by Kizaru, she gets caught by Sentomaru.
Yep.
Still, somehow Sentomaru like brought together the energy to catch her.
And that hadn't been seen before, right? Like this was
No.
the first time we. Yeah.
No, and so then after that, what happens? It takes us back to Zoro and Lucci fighting. Zoro's standing in the middle, Lucci's circling him, and then Luffy pops in and he's like, "Hey, what's going on, Zoro?
Need some help?
Do you want me to help?"
He's like, nah.
Zoro was very respectful. He's like, "No, I think I'm okay."
Yeah, I felt like he responded to that like in a more positive way than he would have in the past. Right?
I thought he would get mad.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I was like, "Oh, he just says respectfully." I was thinking he said it respectfully. Like,
Yeah.
I'm okay right now.
Yeah, maybe he's maturing before our very eyes.
Maybe.
In-
I can't wait to see more of his like moves, and I
Yeah.
feel like that's gonna happen with this Lucci fight.
Yeah.
But we don't see that yet.
Yeah, well, in that fight, and then I thought also with the Luffy and Kizaru fight, like just some of the, I think it's Akihiro Ota, like the animation is just like so good. I have to mention it every time because it's just like the colors and the palette that they're using, the design, like it's just really, really.
Feels out of this world for sure.
Yeah, and they're doing a great job of that. Without making, especially Gear 5th, I think it ran the risk of, just because of what it is, it kind of ran the risk of being a little goofy.
Too wild. Like,
Yeah, and doing that, and like for them to add some depth and some weight to it, like they're capable of doing that. Yeah.
I also wonder, Luffy, when he's in Gear 5th, like how in control he is at all, because it seems like he's so out of control, wild, right? But like, how in control is he of his own body? He's still learning this kind of new gear.
Well, here's another question: is Nico, is him as the sun god or joy boy or whatever? Is that Luffy, or is it a different entity altogether that's kind of like taking control of Luffy's
him?
body, like a Yu-Gi-Oh situation?
Well, but he's talking to Zoro, right? So that's what I was just like, when I was thinking about the amount of control, I thought he didn't have as much control. And then he's like having conversations, he's checking in on Zoro.
Yeah.
So I'm like seeing that personality is still there.
Yep.
So anyways, finally to the fight.
Yep.
So Kizaru was thrown, I don't know how far away, but somehow he's like, "Oh, looks like I'm going to crash into the water. I probably should do something about this." So then he like propels himself back.
Yep.
This like sacred jewel power blast all the way back to Luffy.
Oh yeah.
He gets back there and then he just starts multiplying.
Yeah. It was also cool because he was like really close to the water, and they're like having this battle over the water. So it just like raises the stakes a little bit more, right?
So he multiplies, unleashes his like light sword energy power, and then he starts attacking Luffy. And then I was thinking, is he gonna hit him? Is he gonna hit him? Like, what's going to happen if he hits him? In the beginning he doesn't, and then he finally strikes him. Luffy's like, "Oh, ow." Yeah. And then Luffy starts trying to attack him, tries to figure out which one is the real
because there were so many different replicas.
The replicas.
And
then, he's like hitting him and nothing's happening. And then he thinks he tricks them by like doing this like swat with all of them in a row. Yeah.
And then he's like, "Wait, did I hit the right one?"
And he thought and then he was tricked by Kizaru, who then just transports back to the Straw Hats, right? And he picks, gets Usopp. And then what happens?
He's holding Usopp hostage there.
Yes. And then it takes us to Vegapunk again in the Vega tank with Atlas trying to save Bonnie. And then Kizaru notices that and he's like, "Where's he going? What's going on?" He tries to like attack, blast him with the light. Yeah. And then all of a sudden Luffy comes in and just like eats the light like nothing. Like, oh, so like cool. Like a grape. Like, oh.
It was so cool. Just like, it looked like everybody was about to die. And then he just like, boom.
And like the light just makes me think of like a sword, like so piercing. And I'm just like, oh, that's gotta hurt. And then Luffy just like.
And so fast.
Yes. And he just catches it like it's nothing. Yeah. Let's see. So as the Vega tank is barreling through trying to find Bonnie. Frankie and Sanji jump on. And then Atlas takes that time to give a new updated command to the pacifistas.
Yeah. Do you ever get confused about the chain of command? Or you have it down?
I don't have it down.
Yeah.
Can you explain that to me? Let's talk about the chain of command.
Yeah. So we have the government, right? Vegapunk.
Government.
Vegapunk. Who's after that? I think it's
the CP0.
Right.
At some point.
Yeah, I think it's the versions of Vegapunk and then CP0.
And we don't know. There's no order within the versions of Vegapunk.
I don't know. Sentomaru was above CP0 though.
CP0
because
You're
he
right.
called him away from him.
Government.
Yeah.
Vegapunk.
Yeah.
Sentomaru.
Yeah.
Oh, and how about the what are those called? The replicas of the what are they called?
Yep. It's possible.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I wonder. Yeah.
So CP0 is at the very bottom.
If y'all have been paying better attention than us, I would be curious in the comments if somebody lists like the hierarchy of command, that chain of command, because sometimes I'm like I kind of can compare it to others. Like, oh, okay, yeah, like Atlas can do it over their current orders or whatever. I can usually like given the situation, but even after reading it and even after watching it twice, I'm like, what is it? Yeah. But it's interesting that Atlas was able to do that and it worked.
So Atlas says, sorry, it was not Atlas. It was Lilith.
Was it Lilith?
Lilith. So Atlas was with Vegapunk, but Lilith comes out. I think Lilith also joins like Frankie and Sanji.
Yeah.
So Lilith then comes in and gives the new order to the pacifistas and says, destroy all the Marines. And that's it. And that's how it ends. And we get a little sneak peek.
Well, you get which one was it? Saturn. You get Saturn's eyes at the end of the to be continued. Like Saturn's finally, we get to see some of the elders.
Yes.
We get to see how they're going to
5 elders. And the pentagram.
How they're going to fare in action themselves. So maybe we'll see the arrival.
In action? What kind of action?
Oh, I don't know. Tune in next week for One Piece. Is there anything else that you wanted to add for this episode?
No, just finally some fighting. Don't really learn that much more besides the fighting, so it was good.
It was good. Thank you all for watching. Have a great week. We'll see y'all next week for episode 1128 of One Piece. Until then, y'all have a great day. Have a great week. See y'all next time. Peace.